And we are live for the final round of the season. Oh, listen to these banger tunes, eh? That's one thing where everyone's got it spot on this year, and I've been really enjoying it. I can't let you go. I hope everyone's had a great week and hopefully a great weekend. Let's see if we can end this season on a banger. Just running through the guys that we do have in the lobby at this moment. We've got O'Leary, we've got Igor, we've got Abmo, we've got Vexit, Major, Nivi as always, Ruffles, Luke, Twanich, Titchy Boom, Bundes, Altruco, Mighty Chump, Oswaldo, and Swen the Man. Swen the Men, sorry. So we've got two German drivers, and we've got an overpopulation of British drivers. Always fun. Now, the question is, who do we think is actually going to win this race? I have to check, because I think this might be a track for Nivi. And Nivi is, Nivi is technically, as long as he gets 8th or better, he is the Tier 3 champion. Swain really has to win this race or he doesn't win the championship, where Nivi only needs to get 8th with the fastest lap or better. So this is going to be one of those things where it might get interesting the longer we go on during this race. It all depends on what Nivi and Swen is able to do. And the thing is, I need to check, but I don't think Nivi has his teammate with him, yeah? And come to think of it, I also don't think first points, I would be happy if you get some points. I'm holding thumbs for you. I'll be rooting for you. Let's go for it. Jaden, you're not slow. I don't know what you're talking about, eh? I've never seen you be slow, but I have seen you mess up a few times. That much I can say. So, who's going to start us off for the Tier 3 qualifying today? Don't worry, I was off the pace in Mexico as well. I didn't do Miami because I knew I was going to suck at it. So let's see. We've got a few drivers. It did look like there's an Alpine that's going to be out on track first. Let's see who's out on track first, and then we'll follow that driver. So it's actually Altruco who's first on track in the Alfa Romeo. And behind him, we've got the McLaren of, I believe that is Bundes. So I want to fight to like the proper end for this championship, and I know this might sound a bit rude or I don't wish any bad luck towards Nivi, but I do want him to fight his way back through the field from the back and try and solidify that championship fight inside of him, just to show us a little bit that, listen, I can start in last place, but I can win from anywhere on the grid. So we're going to follow Altruco first, and what I'm going to do is, let me just quickly put it on here, lap data, telemetry, and track map. Let's go for it. The time from the leader. Let's see what these drivers are going to do as we see Altruco going through the first two corners, not struggling with any traction, and he gets a great run out of turn 3 as well. Now going into turn 4, down to 4th gear, getting even down to 3rd to get the front nose rotated. 6th gear, and he's of course the fastest person in the first sector for the time being. Not using all the track there. He can maybe just hold the throttle through that left-hander before the hairpin. Now we're coming into the downhill left-hander hairpin, which is such a tricky corner, and you can lock up so easily and just run wide off the track. As we see Altruco now coming towards the end of the second sector. On the fast bit, you can just keep your foot flat out, and the car's aerodynamics will do the job for you on the turn end. And he is a little bit twitchy on the exit. So you see him going into 7th gear, going up into 8th, and it will be down into 4th, actually down into 3rd for him through this final corner. You can go down into 4th to keep more momentum, and he runs to the line with a 1 minute 30.331. As we see Bundes now also running towards the line, and he's 6/10 off, and Igor does a decent lap with a 1 minute 30.281. Let's just change the track map here to a full map as we see the Mercedes cars. Now O'Leary goes fastest, and now Nivi just obliterating the field in his Ferrari. As we now see one of the Red Bulls, who is Mighty Chump. Mighty Chump has been improving this season. Where can he place himself? And he's last place. We now see it's Vex going into 9th place. He's the slowest of all. Now we see Jayton, who said he's very slow. Jayton trying to lie to us. Let's see what he's got through the first sector. How far is he off compared to the others? He's a 29.0. That is a few tenths off someone like Nivi. He didn't use all the track possible there. You can definitely gain some time through that S section. That's like a half chicane like corner as he goes into the hairpin. So coming into the second sector, your aim is to do roughly around a 1 minute 7.5. Just roughly. That will put him in the mix of the guys like O'Leary and Igor. He's a 1 minute 7.9. I think he might place himself around Altruco. As he did go fastest apparently in the second sector, so it must have been a very poor first sector. You see Jayton using all the track possible there at the end. And he runs to the line and he puts himself in third place. And Ruffles is in fourth now in the Ferrari. And he might be able to help someone like Nivi trying to secure that championship, as Sven hasn't come in onto the track as of yet to do his first lap, I believe. A lot of drivers have set their banker laps, but Twanich and Nivi, what is going on here? This is like 2021 with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. These guys are just running away from the rest of the field. As we see the guys a little bit slow into the pits here. And Twanich just getting held up by other drivers coming out of the pits. As we saw two drivers now doing their out laps. I'm wondering who that might be. We see Igor coming out again. And also Bundes. I think Igor will definitely want a solid chance of winning this race. As just a reminder to everyone who is watching and just joined in, Igor needs to win this race if he wants to win the championship. And I think if Igor and Vex actually work it out as a team, it will be much easier said to actually defend against Nivi, because I do know Vex is a great defender. He's a quick driver as well, and on his day he can do whatever is needed to defend his position in a clean manner as well. But now Igor, he's been with ALR for such a long time. For him, I think he wants this championship. I don't think he needs it, because everybody in ALR does know how quick and how reliable Igor's pair of hands is on track. Igor going down into second for the first corner. He's getting a great run. What's his first sector time going to be like? Can he gain some time? As we know, he did lose a lot of time throughout the second sector, mostly on his previous lap. As he's only 6 thousandths up on his previous time. What can Igor do through the second sector? Now the trickiest part of the track, the downhill left-hand hairpin. He keeps the car under control. No lockups, no going wide a little bit. You can see him just going slower, but he's keeping the lap perfect at the moment. We see Igor going through this fast, swinging S section. And he's currently almost 3 tenths up. And that will place him roughly about just ahead of Jayton. Can he gain an extra few tenths throughout this final sector? Can he try and fight for pole position? What's Igor got in the tank? Does he have any time left? And Igor jumps into 4th place. As we see Bundes behind him, Bundes jumps up 1 place into 8th place. I believe Twanich is on another lap. Let's drive on board with the Haas driver. Can Twanich, as we see Luke get a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Mighty Chump. So you see Twanich still fighting for it in the second sector. Come on, Twanich. Is Twanich going to displace Nivi of that pole position? I think Twanich might go back into the pits. Yes, he is. He just lost so much time in that second sector. As we now ride on board with Jayton again. Jayton is up 3/10 on his time as we see Swen into third place. Sorry, I had my facts completely wrong. So Swen is the one that needs to win the race. Swen needs to win. He's so close to pole position, but he does. Wicked Prophet is so far off. Wicked Prophet hasn't done a time yet. As we see Jayton gaining some time, he doesn't gain a position, but he is still in fourth position. Jayton just solidifying that fourth place to his name. As we look at the Ferrari of Ruffles, I think he's done his lap and he's up into sixth place. Now have a look at Oswaldo. He's done with his lap. He's coming into the pits basically. What is Vex going to do? Vex has improved his time, but I believe he might be going for another lap. Now looking at Major cutting the corner drastically there. And I think that might be looked at later on. Oh, Mighty Chump, who makes another mistake. We see Nivi absolutely blasting past the field and just increasing his pole lap time. And there's no chance of anyone catching him, I believe. I think that might be it. We now see Wicket. Can Wicket try and get a good grid slot to help Swen defend? Can he help Swen? See Wicket going through the first sector. What's his first sector time going to be? He's far off on his first sector time. It does show purple, but it's so slow through the first sector. He's got to gain much more time. I'm wondering if he might be running more wings to try and help himself through the second sector. You see him mount the inside curb, trying to gain as much lap time as possible. He's got DRS open. Now into the brake zone, down into fifth. Don't want to go down to fourth actually. He does, but fourth does slow you down too much. What's this sector time going to be? 1 minute 8.2. That's going to place him roughly around Tichy. Can he gain some extra time through this final sector? We see Wicket running down to the line. And he goes into ninth place. And he's about a tenth quicker than Tichy, which is roughly about the space we thought he would be in. And if you look at 8th place all the way down into 12th, that's like a tenth and a half that covers 5 drivers. It's really close for this field. As we see Abmo now starting a lap. Is he starting a lap? Looks to be harvesting. I think he's harvesting. No, he's not harvesting. He's on that throttle. You can see the ERS eating away. What's his first sector time going to be? Abmo is a tenth and a half up. Can he place himself within the top 10? We know how fast he can be during race conditions. He looks after his tires so well. Does Abmo. Abmo's now looking to absolutely eat the second sector. He needs to climb the curb to get all the time possible. He does do that. Down into fifth. The perfect gear for this corner. How much time has he gained? He's 5/10 up. And this will place him roughly around Ruffles, between Ruffles and O'Leary. As we see Abmo going for the final corner. Down into fourth, getting the nose turned in. Can he run a little bit wide, eating the curb just to get the momentum going? As we see Abmo jump into fifth place as he gained more time through the final sector. Now, as we look at Vex, Vex also needs to climb to help and defend Eagle, who's looking to gain on Swen in the championship for second place. As we see Vex trying to improve his position. He doesn't. He does improve his time though, but that's all he was able to do. What is Mighty Chump's ERS is completely drained. Now let's look, as I believe Bundes is the first guy who'll start a lap. What's Bundes going to be giving us in this final lap of his qualifying for the season? As we see the McLaren, he needs to eat this outside curb, get onto it a little bit more than what he did. He goes down into third. I would have been into fourth a lot quicker. As we see him only 300ths up on his current fastest lap time. Not using all the track possible there. I think he might be losing a lot of time here. Can he gain more time in this left-hander? He's very quick through there, and I think he might have gained a little bit of time. All depends on what the second sector will say. As we see Abmo retire in the pits. He did his final run. What a great lap from him to place himself in the top 10. Now we look at Bundes, who is currently down on his time, and I don't think he'll be able to improve from here. As we will turn our attention to the Ferrari, who's directly behind him, as we see Ruffles, who's currently 3.5 tenths up on his fastest lap time. Can he place himself above Abmo? Currently, it does look like it's a possibility, as we see Ruffles through the last corner, not using all the track possible. And he places himself into fifth place, and he dispatches Abmo by only 400ths of a second. As now we see Luke on his only flying run. Where can Luke place himself? And Luke goes into fourth position. Now we turn our attention to Swen, who's coming across the line, and we see Swen 9,000 down on Nivi. What a lap from Swen, and Twanage is so close as well. Is Nivi going to improve his time? It doesn't look like it. Can he gain more time through the final corner? What's this going to be from Nivi? And he does improve on his lap time. So you see Jayton, who invalidated his lap. And that's the qualifying over, basically, for everyone. What a qualifying that was, Tier 3. What a battle between Swen and Nivi there at the end. And don't forget, Luke gets a 5-place grid penalty as he drops down into 10th. Now, our grid for the race. Now we have Nivi, who's currently leading the championship in first. Second place in the championship in second. Third place in the championship in third. Then we have Twanage, Luke, Jayton, O'Leary, Ruffles, Abmo, El Truco, Bundes, Wicked Prophet, Oswaldo, Tichy, Boom, Major, Vex, and then Mighty Chump. Let me tell you, I think this might be a very tough race for Swen to try and win this championship. I think this might be the hardest thing you can do, is to try and get Nivi to not score any points. So, who's your money on? And to everyone who is racing, before you start racing, tell me what position do you think you're going to finish in? Where do you think you're going to place in the last race of the season? As we see 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's away we go. As it wasn't a good start from Sven. And Nivius quite far ahead. As Sven dives into the first corner. As there's contact between them. And Nivius quite comfortably ahead. Now as we see Igor and Twinich fighting for it later on. As we see O'Leary now fighting with Ruffles. And O'Leary might have just lost that position, but he is still trying to defend from the Alfa Romeo. Let's see what the tyres are at this stage, as we see a couple of drivers on medium tyres, and I'd say around 5 drivers are on the hards. We see O'Leary, who lost a couple of positions against the Alfa Romeo and also against Wicked Prophet, who's also making up places. O'Leary struggling at the start of this race. As we saw someone that spun there, it's Abmo. Abmo spun, and his weekend has gone from pretty decent to absolutely ruined. Can he try and fight back? As we see a couple of cars there at the back. As we see Luke diving into the pits. As we see Twinich and Igor. Igor goes wide and he's losing a few positions. Now Jayton up into 4th place. As we see another yellow flag, for this time for a Red Bull driver, and it might be Mighty Chump who spun there. Now we look at Igor right on the back of Jayton. He might want to make up those places that he lost after mistake into turn 1. Question is, how hard is he going to fight this back? We see, come on, I believe Igor does have this going into the next lap. This might be a much easier pass than what we might have thought. We see Igor just having so much more pace on the straights. And Igor makes a move into turn 1. And the Alpine driver is in front of Jayton on the hard tyres. But Jayton's going to try and come back. Jayton's got DRS going down the straight, and he's going to try and make a move, and he just decides against it. And he doesn't want to do anything reckless, as he is in prime position to maybe go for a win on his hard tyres. Looking towards the back of the grid, or well, the middle of the grid, as we see Wicked now chasing down O'Leary again, as O'Leary did get past him again. Now, what can Wicked do? Wicked has fallen out of DRS, and instead of attacking O'Leary, he's now going to have to look behind him, with Bundes starting to catch him. We see O'Leary coming into the final corner. Can he try and get the run on Altruco? On the start-finish straight. He's got the DRS open. He's not really catching, as I think Altruco is running much lower wings. And now O'Leary is past him as they almost go side by side into the first corner. And O'Leary's got the move done. But Altruco is making a move back on O'Leary. And he got past him on the traction. What a move from Altruco to get back past O'Leary. Now we have to turn our attention to Twanich, who's right on the back of Sven. This isn't good news for the AlphaTauri driver, who's still in the hunt for the championship. What is Twanich going to do? He's gaining and gaining on Sven. And Sven doesn't seem to have the pace to compete against Nivi or Twanich for this race victory at this early stages. As you see O'Leary getting past Wicked as they go side by side. And now Wicked profits past O'Leary as well. And O'Leary's back past Wicked. And I think O'Leary is running very low on ERS. He is. His lights are flashing. This is going to be so hard for him to defend against Wicked Prophet, whilst also trying to attack. As we see Wicked Prophet going on the inside of Altruco. And he goes way too wide, and Altruco gets the run out of the second corner. And now O'Leary is right on the back of Wicked with the bad exit. And O'Leary's making a move back past Wicked. But Wicked just defends against O'Leary. And O'Leary might have to sit and wait for another opportunity to come his way. So you see, Twanich did get past Sven. Now can Sven try and keep within DRS to fight Nivi? So we see anyone within the top 6 can still win this race, as they're just starting to pull away from Altruco, Wicked, O'Leary. That group is really starting to fall behind against the front runners. As we just want to get the tire details away for now. Now we see Sven trying to hold on to the back of Twanich. It's really difficult because Twanich is pulling away from him. But Twanich is so close to the DRS of Nivi. And I think he might have it. I think Nivi might be in a world of trouble here. As we see Eagles rear end just stepping out. I think the medium tires might start to struggle, as the only hard runner in this front 6 is Jayton. And I think Jayton might start getting the advantage over these guys, as Altruco and Wicked was side by side again. Now we see O'Leary looking at the back of Wicked. These guys are really giving us a battle for the final race of the season. What's it going to be like as we see these guys really gain on each other, and someone knocks out the bollard? I think that might have been Wicked. The question is, does it have the same consequences as Max had in Miami? O'Leary starting to get close here, as we might have to just go back to the front runners again, as we see Twanich on the back of Nivi. The question is Nivi controlling the pace, or is he starting to feel the pressure? Is he starting to wonder what's wrong with his tires? Is there something wrong with his tires? Is his battery drained? see Swen still at the back. As we see Wicked Prophet now trying to overtake Altruco. Altruco gets a bad run out of that corner. And will O'Leary be able to try and help them in this battle? And these guys are still going side by side. We see behind them Bundes and Oswaldo also fighting it out. Now Wicked not looking to attack Altruco as he's falling behind. He's out of DRS range. And this is going to help O'Leary trying to pass him. As the guys behind them really started to gain on them. As we see the McLaren totally lose the rear end of Bundes. And Bundes is going to have to regain all that time if he doesn't have any damage on his car. I think Wicked might be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got the hard tyres on, which is supposed to be the tyre that's got much more life at this stage and much more performance. As we see a yellow flag for Abmo. I'm wondering what might have happened there. Was it contact between himself and another driver? As we see Swen get past Dwanich. And now Swen has his sights set on Nivi. And Wicked gets past, well, stays in front of O'Leary. What can O'Leary do? Can O'Leary fight him back? Just behind them, we've got Tichy and Oswaldo, just like they started the season. These two had a brilliant fight. Will they continue that trend here in the final race? Now, as we see O'Leary going on the inside of Wicked, he just has to be patient as Wicked runs wide and O'Leary almost loses the rear end of his Mercedes. And he gets the better run, and I think he might be past Wicked. The question now is, can he get a big enough gap through these final few corners to try and break that DRS on Wicked? Going into the start-finish straight. Doesn't look like it. Now we turn our attention again to Swen, Twanich and Nivi. As we see Swen slowly starting to gain on Nivi. Is he going to make a move on the inside? He is making a move on the inside on the Ferrari driver. And there's slight contact between them, I think. And Swen's got the better run. And now Nivi's on the back foot as he has to defend against Twanich. And Twanich also makes a move on Nivi. Nivi doesn't have to win this race. He just needs to finish 8th or higher. This is fine for Nivi. He doesn't need to win this race. He just needs to keep calm. The championship is still in his hands. As he tries to make a move on Twanich there as they make contact. Not the best place for Nivi to make the move. And now we see Igor making the move on Nivi. And now Jayton's going to make a move on him as well. A move that wasn't necessary, that Nivi went for, has ended up costing him even more than it should. But at this current stage, in 5th position, Nivi is still your champion. Swen is doing all he can. Swen is leading the race. Can he break the DRS on Twanich? As we see another yellow flag, and this time it's for Bundes. What happened? I think he might have climbed onto the curb and lost the rear end. If you now see O'Leary and Oswaldo, as Oswaldo got past him and Wicked. Now Wicked is also struggling to keep up with him, and Tichy as well. O'Leary, one of the most consistent drivers in ALR. Can he try and make a move on Oswaldo going into turn 4? And he does like a dummy going back on the inside, but he decides against it. And he lets Oswaldo keep the position for the time being. Now we see Twanich on the back of Sven again. These two are running away with it now. As we see, Jayton made a move into P3 on Eagle. And this might be a good day for Jayton. He might be able to get a podium. If he does keep his cool, he just needs to keep his focus. Not make any silly mistakes, as we know he normally does. Now we see Twanich. Very close. Going onto the start-finish rate. He's very close. I think he might be close enough to make a move even before they get to turn 1. And he's going to get past before they get to turn 1. And in the braking zone, he just takes his place. And Sven will sit behind him very comfortably, as I think the Haas did lose a little bit of traction. Now Sven can just sit behind him, save his ERS, as we saw Eagle get past Jayton once again, as we see Tichy, the first driver, into the pits in the Aston Martin, as he might be making an undercut on the guys in front of him. I think if he gets a proper undercut, as we see O'Leary running wide, and now Wicked is past him once again. What can O'Leary do? Now we turn our attention again to Sven. Sven and Twanich have been so good in this first stint. The question is, who's going to blink first? Who's going to go into the pits first? Who's going to take that chance and just roll with it? As we see them coming out of the final corner. Everyone's staying out. Jayton is on the back of Eagle. I think Jayton might have the move done into turn 1. What can he do in his Williams? He's running a lot more wings than Eagle, struggling to get past that Alpine. And I think his hard tyres are really helping him. As we see Eagle now coming back at Jayton as he wants to make the move. And Eagle might have this move back as Jayton and Eagle make contact. And now O'Leary getting past Sven and Oswaldo. These guys might have to pit, as I believe Tichy is going to get the undercut on all of them. At Sven again. We saw Jayton and Eagle battling it out. Still at this moment, Eagle just trying to keep up with Jayton, showing all that experience that he's got in Racing League. He's got so much experience in this league, Eagle. He knows what every driver's going to do before they even do it. He knows how to control the car. He knows how to control the race. And he's just doing that to perfection. As he's trying to catch the guys in front of them. As Sven gets past them. Now Eagle's past Jayton again. As Nivi made contact with Jayton there. Slight contact, but I think that he will get away with it. Now Jayton trying to get past Eagle again, and he does get past, as these guys are just trying to slingshot each other towards the front two. Now we see Major and Bundes also pitting. Where will they place themselves? as we see Major and Bundes coming out of the pits on the minimap. I think they will be behind Tichy and they will be behind Abmo. Now we see Igor again just getting past Jayton. And these guys are losing a lot of time, more than what they should. We see Jayton into the final corner. And Igor's going to pit. Jayton has to stay out. He's going to have to fast the tyres towards the end. And Driffles can't pit. He has to stay out. Now Wicked Prophet needs to stay out. Can he maybe help Sven defend? Does look like he's way too far ahead to help Sven defend against Nivi. As we see Sven not too far behind Wicked. Now we look and Oswaldo coming out of the pits. As the field is quite spread out at this current stage, our biggest thing to look at is Sven gaining on Wicked Prophet. Because if Sven does it, if Sven and Wicked can just get it right, then Wicked can defend as hard as humanly possible to try and help Sven win this championship. Now we see Twenich gaining on Sven. This is not what Sven needs. Sven needs to catch up to his teammate to get that DRS. He isn't going to have DRS, and this is going to help Twenich. And Twenich is going to pass him before they get into turn 1. Now looking at the other drivers also pitting. Sven needs to stay on the back of Twenich. As Vex also pits. Currently, as things stand. And we see Twenich trying to make us move on Wicked. Is Wicked going to defend it? No, he isn't. As he makes a mistake, and I think he's going to let Sven just get past him to try and chase down Twenich once again. Now, how hard can Wicked defend against Nivi? Can he be Sven's Kevin Magnussen? So we see Oswaldo and O'Leary going at it once again. And Oswaldo gets the move done. And O'Leary looking at the back of that Red Bull. He's going to have the DRS on this main straight, and I think it might be an easy move even before they get to the braking zone. And O'Leary's got the move done. As long as he doesn't run wide into the first corner, he's got the move done. And I think that will be O'Leary up into 10th, but now Oswaldo is going to have a run back on O'Leary, and he takes the place back. As we see, Igor got past Wicket. We have a look at Wicket. His ERS is running low. He can't defend any longer, and he's got Nivi right on the back of him. I know his tyres are old, but he has to try and defend for his teammates. Doesn't look like it's going to be a possibility. As we see Nivi really gaining on Wicked Prophet. And Wicked Prophet isn't going to have DRS going onto this main straight to help him defend. And he dives into the pits. And he's not going to defend against Nivi. As we see Jayton now coming out of the pits. Jayton is going to be much faster. Is he going to get undercut by Ruffles? And he stays in front of the Ferrari driver, but the Ferrari driver will have DRS onto the straight. Now Jayton needs to defend. We see Ruffles trying to make a move on the outside. So there was slight contact between them as they try and go side by side through this section. As we see contact between them, and Jayton just loses the car from that contact. And he loses the position. And just a friendly reminder, as things stand, Nivi will be your Tier 3 champion. I think it's such a hard pull to swallow for Sven. He's been having such a great race so far. As we see Altruco now also going into the pits. What is Sven going to do? Is he just going to sit behind and wait? Looks like that might be his only opportunity, might be his only thing to do, as Nivi is in 4th place. And with that, I think Nivi, if you just tuned in, Nivi just needs to finish 8th or higher to win this race. Now look back at Oswaldo, who's going to make a move on Altruco with the DRS. And he gets past Altruco, but now the Alfa Romeo driver's on brand new mediums, and he's going to make easy moves on these guys in front. As we see Luke, who pitted on the first lap, is in 7th place currently, and he's got a good chance at getting points. Now looking at Altruco. O'Leary, Altruco, these guys have got... I hope these guys can provide a 3-wide moment into turn 1. As Altruco gets a brilliant run out of the final corner, and Oswaldo also has DRS off the car in front and just squeezing him a little bit. As Altruco might make contact with the horse, and he does. Doesn't seem to be front wing damage for Altruco. As we see a yellow flag for Major, who just retired in the pits. Now we see El Truco. He might have to wait another lap to make a move. And he's going to be impatient. He's going to try and do it into the hairpin. And he makes contact with Oswaldo. And I think I might have seen a small bit of his front wing fly off. And that's not good for El Truco, as that might be front wing damage. And that will hinder his chances of getting in front of these guys. Let's see if it doesn't look like he did lose an end plate there. It doesn't look like he's understeering. I think he might be fine for this moment and time. It's 4 drivers trying to fight for that P7 position. We see Jayton setting up the fastest lap. And now El Truco getting a great run again on Oswaldo. And can these guys try and make a move on? Look, in front of them. Now El Truco and Oswaldo both getting past Luke. And Luke doesn't have the tires to try and defend this. He's been on those tires since lap 1, I believe. Let's have a look. Luke's tires are 18 laps old. As El Truco now gets past Oswaldo. And I think he might be able to pull away with these brand new medium tires. What can O'Leary do on Luke? Is he going to sit patiently behind Luke and wait for the start-finish straight? Does seem like it. And I see Wicked is really starting to gain on these guys. He was 7 seconds behind and he's already 3.6 seconds after just 3 laps. What can these guys do? Can they produce a brilliant race till the end? As we see El Truco now breaking the DRS of Oswaldo. And Oswaldo might be in some trouble later on, as O'Leary is now trying to make a move on Luke. And I think O'Leary's got the move done into turn 1. What can O'Leary do? Late on the brakes from O'Leary. Just giving Luke enough space. Will he have him on traction? No, he's not. But he's going to have the better run out of the corner. But Luke's just got more ERS. If there's one thing I think O'Leary needs to improve on, it's his ERS management. He's a great driver. He's very consistent. And he's always safe and reliable. But he needs to squeeze out that extra few tenths. And I think his ERS management is what losing him. Those extra few tenths per lap in the race to try and challenge at the front. So you see Jayton did get past Ruffles, and O'Leary still looking at the back of that Haas rear wing. As Luke is really fighting that car to try and stay in DRS range of Oswaldo. As O'Leary gets a great run out of the final corner. And he's already on the back of Luke. He needs to brake that little bit later to try and get the move done. And he doesn't. And Luke just brakes later and he gets the traction as well. And this is just helping Oswaldo defend against the Haas driver. And against the Mercedes, because the only threat here for Oswaldo is O'Leary, because Luke's tires are completely done at this point. So Leary going into the hairpin. Is he going to get close to the horse? He's not getting the traction that he needs out of these corners. There's still our closest battle on track. Now O'Leary into the final corner. Can he get a better run than the horse in front? He does get a brilliant run on the horse driver. The question is, can he now try and finalize the move? Can he complete the move? As we see him make the move on the horse, and I think the horse driver might have tapped his front wing onto the Mercedes. And O'Leary's got the move done. Now we see Wicket also gaining on Luke for that final points paying position. Luke's been on his tires since lap 2. I think he is crying at this stage. What a recovery though. He started in 10th place. He had a bad start with, I believe, front wing damage. And he's been able to fight his way back. Now is the question, can he keep within DRS of the guys in front to try and defend against Wicked? As we see O'Leary getting closer to Oswaldo. Can O'Leary make a move on Oswaldo? As he makes a move, and he's going to be past Oswaldo before they even get to turn 1. And O'Leary just keeping his position, but I think Oswaldo is going to have the better run out of that corner. Doesn't seem like it, and Oswaldo is really struggling for tire grip. And all of this is helping Luke, trying to defend from Wicked. And the first race of the season, Wicked Prophet ended in P11. Is he going to replicate that, or can he get into P10? Now we see Oswaldo just barely keeping up. And Luke as well. Luke is struggling. His tires are really starting to fall off. And he just lost DRS. I think Luke might be in a world of bother here. As he loses the rear end, and that's going to help Wicked, trying to get past him. And I think Luke might have DRS here to try and come back at the... As we see a lot of weaving from O'Leary at the front, and Oswaldo's making a move into turn 1. And we also see a move just directly behind them from Luke trying to make a move on Wicked. Did Luke get the move done on Wicked? Wicked's got DRS. I think Wicked might have the move done. And Luke's trying to keep it out on the outside, and he almost loses the rear end. Now O'Leary, can he try and make a move back on Oswaldo? While all of this was going on, let's look at Jayton making a move on Igor. As Igor is starting to struggle, as he did get passed by Nivi. As Abmo sets the fastest lap of the race. And Jayton makes a move into the final corner. But did Eagle get the DRS? Did Eagle give a massive master plan? But no, he didn't. Jayton did get the DRS. And is he going to start gaining on Nivi with his medium tires? Now looking back at O'Leary and Oswaldo. O'Leary's far enough ahead that he can take the normal racing line. And he does. Altruco gets a 3-second penalty, but he's so far ahead of these guys fighting behind him that I don't think that'll be of any concern for him. As Oswaldo gets DRS again and he makes a move into turn 4. As these guys are really fighting it out and giving us a battle in the last race of the season as they're going side by side. And O'Leary just gives the position to Oswaldo. I think this is just that last bit of pride that these guys are fighting for. Just looking at it, Oswaldo can't really gain any positions in front of him in the championship as it stands, but he can definitely lose against Twanich, who is so far ahead. And same for looking at O'Leary. He's safe compared to Vex in the championship, and O'Leary makes a move on Oswaldo. These guys are really going tooth and nail in this fight, and they're not going to give up any positions. They're not going to let anything go. And now we turn our attention again to the front runners in this race, as we see Swen getting closer and closer to Twanich. And looking at it, we might have a champion that didn't even win a single race this season. Nivi has not stepped onto the top spot of the podium as of yet, and Nivi isn't going to do it in this race. He's going to win the championship without even winning a single race. Swen's won 4 races, and he's just not getting the job done. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Now we see Eagle getting passed by Ruffles, as Eagle's really starting to struggle on those hard tires. He's fallen so far back. He was in front of Nivi and Jayton, and all of a sudden he's falling down the grid. And now O'Leary still in front of Oswaldo. Looking at the constructors, as it stands, Ferrari are taking the Constructors' Championship as well. Unless Jayton can catch up to Nivi, this is going to be a Ferrari Drivers and Ferrari Constructors Championship. As we see Swen now going into the final lap. Can he make a move into turn 1? Can Swen win another race here in ALR? Season 15, Tier 3. as Strenich did try and get the switchback, but I think, and Sven, the man, is going to have to defend. Is he going to have that pace advantage? Is he going to have to run to try and defend against Strenich? And Strenich is able to defend, and I think that's over for Sven. I don't think there's another opportunity for a move, as you see the rear end just stepping out. He's going to have to hope for a mistake from Strenich in front of him, as his ERS is completely done. Sven's been battling to try and win the championship. He knew it's going to be a miracle, but Strenich has been so quick this season. As we see a mistake from Luke, I think Luke might have made a mistake. As we see Igor spin. On the minimap, but Strenich is going to win the last race of the ALR Tier 3 season. What a race from Strenich. Then Sven coming home in second. And Nivi is your champion of the world Tier 3 ALR. What a race from Nivi. Just keeping his cool. Then we've got Jayton in P4 catching up to Nivi, but not enough. And then we see Ruffles in P5, Altruco P6, as Igor has lost so many positions. And behind Igor, we've got the likes of Altruco, who came back, Oswaldo in P8, O'Leary in P9. These guys had a great battle throughout the race. Wicked Prophet, Vex, Tichy, Luke coming home in 13th after pitting on lap 1 or 2, I believe. He pitted on lap 1. Mighty Chump. Then Abmo is going to come home in 15th place. It hasn't been a great race for Abmo, but he hasn't given up. And then just behind Abmo, we've got Bundes. But ladies and gentlemen, I've said it a few seconds ago, your champion of Tier 3, Season 15, Nivi, without a single win this season. Nivi, take a bow. Take a bow. Well done. Sven did so well. Sven drove his absolute heart out to try and get that first place. And with the hopes that Nivi might have made a mistake, Sven kept on fighting till the end. Igor, Nivi is our Tier 3 champion. He is our Tier 3 champion. He did not win the race. And he's a champion without a single win. As we see Strenich celebrating his win. And I think that would be so pleasant for Strenich to have that win to his name. He got so close in the Dutch Grand Prix earlier this season. But ultimately, he had to wait. And you know, I think that would be such a great way for him to end the season. He's got the momentum going into the next season. Yes, it's going to be to F1 24. And then to ALR and all the drivers of Tier 3. Thank you very much for the season you've provided. And I hope to see all of you again in F1 24. Let's do it again. See you guys. Cheers.